Hello everyone, over the next few days we will see much more favorable conditions for rainfall over the northeastern half of South Africa, so much of the summer grain production area will see above normal rainfall with totals in the order of 20 to 80 millimeters during the next few days until Wednesday the 4th of March. This is a cumulative rainfall forecast by the GFS model. We also see that there will be some rain over the southwestern parts of the country. The winter rainfall region will see rain because there will be a few cold fronts also, and that will result in cooler temperatures over the southern, or cooler conditions over the southern parts of the country, and also rain along the garden route. We will also see much more rain towards the north. We have that low pressure system further towards the north over Botswana, the tropical low pressure system, and that is quite a positive contributor to moisture in our region, and it also enhances the potential for better rainfall over the summer rainfall region going forward during the next few days. And with all the clouds and the moisture about, we will not see extremely high maximum temperatures, so maximum temperatures will be in the near normal ranges. So quite favorable conditions for the summer grain production region as we move into early March. Still looking here at the cumulative rainfall expected until the 4th of March, this time by the ECMWF model. And we see for the summer grain production region, also according to this model, conditions are quite good for rainfall, and we will see totals in the order of 30 to 70 millimeters. So both models quite positive for above normal rainfall over the summer grain production area during the next few days. Towards northwest, we can still see the position of that tropical low pressure system contributing moisture into our region, and then also the rain expected over the southwestern parts of the country, the winter rainfall region, because of the cold fronts moving in, especially over those mountainous areas in the south, in the southwest, in the Boland, and along the Gardner route in the south. Looking now at the EUMETSAT infrared image for Tuesday the 24th, we have that low pressure system, the upper air cutoff low, moving out at this stage. This system resulted in very good rain over the western, northwestern and southwestern parts of the country and southern parts into the Eastern Cape as well. And then the far western parts of the summer grain production region also received quite good rain. But further east, specifically associated with this systems, the totals were generally disappointing. Earlier this previous weekend, we also saw some unrelated thunder showers over the eastern parts of the country, where some areas received better rain also. Further towards the east, we still have the action over the Indian Ocean, and between these two areas of more activity, we had drier conditions, and that also dominated much of the northeastern half of South Africa during the last few weeks. But conditions will change and it will become more favorable for rainfall over the northeastern half of South Africa going forward during early March. Now looking back at the observed rainfall, this is the rainfall for 1 January to 23 February as a percentage of the long-term average. And over the central to southern parts of the country as well, and the western parts, as well as those far northeastern areas, we saw above normal or above average rainfall in this case. And then between them we had a region of below average rainfall, and much of that area is also where we know the summer grain production area is. So especially those far southwestern parts of the region received near average rainfall, but over the rest of the region we saw below average rainfall during this entire period, with much of the region receiving between 25 and 75% of the long-term average. For the period 1 to 20 February on its own, we see much of those western to central interior areas received above average rainfall, and then the northeastern half of the country saw below average rainfall, and that also includes much of the summer grain production region, where we had those far southwestern areas with above average rainfall, and the rest of the region seeing below average rainfall during February. Some parts of Northwest and the Mpumalanga province received between 50 and 25% of the long-term average during February until the 22nd. Looking now at the 30-day period, 23 January until 21 February, and we're looking more closely at the summer grain production area. We see that those northern, northwestern parts into the Northwest province, most of those areas between 10 and 40 millimeters. In isolated areas, a bit more than 50 millimeters, especially towards the southwest, and then closer to Potchefstroom and then over Gauteng and parts of the Northern Free State, we see during this 30-day period totals exceeding 76 millimeters during that period. And then large parts of Mpumalanga are still relatively dry for this time of the year, with most of those areas receiving less than 70 millimeters during this month-long period. Continuing the discussion on atmospheric demand and rainfall over those western parts of the summer grain production area, we look here at the station close to Bothaville, station close to Wesselsbron, and the station between Hertzogville and Hoopstad. And for all these stations, one can see that the slope of the atmospheric demand curve is going down, so that value is not increasing as much anymore. Because we have cooler conditions during the day, the atmospheric demand in terms of potential evapotranspiration is lower. So that is now still increasing, but at a lower rate. And then more recently, we see over some of these locations better rain during the last week or two. And especially in that Hoopstad area where they had quite good rainfall during the last 2 weeks in total. So further west in this specific region, we saw better improvements in terms of rainfall than towards the eastern parts of that specific region. And at this stage, for most of these locations at least, now the rainfall that occurred, and this is from the 1st of January until the 22nd of February, is within about 50% region of the atmospheric demand. Earlier, by the end of January and early February, it was in the order of about 25% of the atmospheric demand. So now it's looking better because of the cooler conditions and better rainfall, especially further towards the west over that western region of the summer grain production region. Moving back to the forecast now, we're looking here at the average maximum temperature expected until the 1st of March. Looking at the summer grain production region, one can see that average maximum temperatures will basically range between 20 and 30 degrees Celsius, so it will be near normal temperatures. We see that the southern parts of the country will be quite cool, and that is because we will have a few cold fronts moving through during this period as well. Looking at the highest maximum temperatures during this period, so the extreme maximum temperatures, we see that only those far northeastern to eastern low-lying areas will see at times temperatures exceeding 35 degrees Celsius, and then also your typical areas that are hotter, these northwestern parts of the country too. Now quickly looking day by day, we start on Tuesday the 24th, and then in the middle Wednesday, and on the right hand side for Thursday, at the top for rainfall, at the bottom for maximum temperatures. And we see that on Tuesday we will still see some thunder showers over the interior with the low pressure system moving out, especially those southeastern parts may see some better falls. And then also around Botswana, there will be some better thunder showers earlier on the day. Later during the week, we see that it will be much drier over much of the interior, but we will see a continuation of the thunder showers, isolated mostly in nature, over the northeastern to eastern parts of the country. We also see that on Tuesday, we will have a cold front, on Wednesday, we will have a cold front moving into the country, and that will result in lower temperatures on Wednesday and Thursday over those southwestern parts. And on Wednesday, because we have these drier conditions developing with some kind of an offshore flow ahead of the action in the south, with the cold front there, we will see the higher maximum temperatures over those lower lying northeastern parts as well. But generally speaking, the second half of this period, Wednesday and Thursday, will be relatively dry over the interior, with thunder showers confined to those far eastern to northeastern areas. So this is for Friday, Saturday and Sunday. So through the weekend, we see that thunder showers will return to the central to northeastern parts, and it will become a bit more widespread later by Sunday. We can also see that there will be rain again over the southern parts of the country, as we will have another cold front by Saturday and Sunday, influencing those southern parts and resulting in much cooler conditions there, with maximum temperatures over those higher lying areas in the order of 15 to 20 degrees Celsius. So much cooler in the south. And then again, as we have these systems moving in the south, firstly we will have warmer conditions developing over the interior by Saturday, parts of the northwestern interior, and then also parts of KwaZulu-Natal. And these hot conditions will shift towards the northeastern lower lying areas, such as the Lowveld and northeastern parts of KwaZulu-Natal and the Limpopo River Basin on Sunday, as we have the cold front in the south. But then also a bit better thunder showers over much of the summer rainfall region, northeastern half of the country, including the summer grain production region as well. Looking a bit further ahead, and this is the GFS ensemble upper air map for next week, Tuesday. We see low pressure areas and a trough over these western parts of the country, and we see high pressure systems locating over the Indian Ocean and Atlantic Ocean. So this feature usually is very favorable for widespread above average rainfall over the interior, especially the eastern half of the country as we move into early parts of next week. And this is also what the cumulative rainfall for next week, Tuesday or Monday and Tuesday, indicate, with quite a lot of rain expected over the northeastern half of the country at this stage. So large scale picture looking somewhat more favorable, and we can see better rainfall. So this is for early March then. Sometimes it happens before, also even before the development of an El Nino during the next summer, that March can see very much above normal rainfall. Over the northeastern half of South Africa, we had an example of that in 2014, followed by the El Nino of 2015 and 2016. And we also had a lot of rain during March 1997 over the northeastern half of the country and central parts also. And that was before the El Nino development into the summer of 97-98. So not unheard of that we can have quite wet conditions during March while La Nina is weakening. Now looking at the very large scale picture according to the Madden-Julian oscillation and focusing on the equatorial regions, we're moving here in time as we move down with the maps from about 21 February to the first 10 days of, or the first 5 days of March. And this large area of convection over the Indian Ocean, currently just towards the east, will be located further eastwards towards Australia, later towards Indonesia. So a negative effect of that will lessen over time, and it's becoming a bit more favorable for rainfall over the areas towards the southeast, towards the southwest, including much of the South African region. So to summarize, we look here at the GFS ensemble forecast for rainfall anomalies until the 4th of March. And we see that we will be relatively wet over the northeastern half of South Africa, with the drier conditions further towards the east. And we will have moisture from the Indian Ocean that will enhance rainfall over South Africa. So a favorable picture going into early next week for above normal rainfall over much of the summer rainfall region, as well as the summer grain production area. At this stage, deeper into the month of March up till the 12th, conditions remain fairly favorable according to the ensemble forecast for above normal rainfall over South Africa, with the drier conditions over the Indian Ocean telling us that there will be more high pressure systems there, also helping us to see more moisture coming into South Africa. So favorable conditions expected for the first half of March, or the very end of February into early March, according to the current forecast, and we will have a look at these patterns as they develop in the Cumulus newsletter.
2010 was described as the decade of disruption. Smartphones, wearables, technology built to last. So why don't we build everything that way? Luckily, there is a group of people that still believe in this way of thinking. For over 10 years, they've helped farmers build lasting futures with crop insurance that stands firm when it matters most. AgriSeker.
We are where you are.
An authorized FSP underwritten by Land Bank Insurance Company.